Hey, what up, guys? All right, so today we're going to be working on the login form. Okay, so our sign up form so far, we are not able to log users in. So that's what we're going to be working on today. So let's not waste time. So in the login controller, right above the method that we created in the last video, um, over here, I'm going to create the login method. Public function log in. All right, so um, we need to inject the request object. Then we're gonna say request. All right, so now we're gonna do the same thing we did with the registration. First, we first gonna validate the user input. Okay, so here we're gonna say this validate request. Then we're gonna get the array. So we're gonna validate against the email and the password. So if I'm not mistaken, let's just check the login form. So yes, we have the email and the password. So in here, we're going to say email. Just make sure that you put that too as well, so that the user enters the correct email. I mean the correct email address, and then the password. Let's see. That's basically it. I keep misspelling validate. I don't know why. Okay. So once the so basically, in fact, I don't think we need to do that. All I can do is, all right, I'm gonna come into the master folder, then the forms blade. So right above here where it says form contents container, I'm gonna put another div there. We're gonna say display messages, right? All right, so here we're gonna say, uh, actually let me copy this comment. First, let's put there's a directive here for if, there's a if else directive for a blade directive for an if and else statement. So here we're gonna use that and say session, and then here we're gonna say error. So this is just another form, another way in which we can display errors within a page, rather than the other way that I showed you guys within the registration form. So if session error, no, actually I think I'm doing something wrong here. Let's see. Uh, no, I'm supposed to say if errors. Oh yeah, sorry about that. I'm supposed to say if count errors are greater than 0. Yeah, my apologies for that. I was almost made a mistake, right? So now what we're going to do is We're going to place our comments there, right? Then we're going to create a div here with alert, alert, danger, dot, alert, no, border, then border, danger. Okay, so now we're going to loop through the various errors that are available. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in a for each loop. All right, so we're going to say if for each errors all as error, then we will put that in in the li tag, and then we'll just say all right. So I hope I did everything correctly. So let's just check and see if this has worked. So oh yeah, by the way, we need to create the actions for the form itself. So I'm gonna come into the login file, and here we're gonna say method, which is post, right? And then let's close some of these. We're done with the registration. Let's close some of them. So we're gonna come to the web.php file, and then we're gonna come here by login, paste it there. So here we'll change the name from login to auth.login. It'll go to the same login route, and then here we'll say post, and then here we'll change that from sign in to log in. So I think we're done. So now let's copy this name and then come back to the login file, and in here we'll create the route, the login route as the action. Okay, so let's not forget the CSRF token. So we're gonna say CSRF, and that's pretty much all that we need. So when we click the submit button now, it should go into the login controller, check all the fields, and then if they are not, if there's empty fields, obviously it's supposed to show the error here at the top. So hopefully we did everything correctly. Let's refresh and let's submit. All right, so can you see there's our error messages over there. Now we can still do the same thing we did with the registration form. So for example, we can come in here and we can copy what we did here. So basically we can take that part over there, copy it, errors has, and then come back to the login form, and then we can pretty much here within the class just make sure it's in the class itself, place it there, save, and then also place it on the password field. Make sure there's a space between those curly braces and the last class that you placed in there. All right, so now let's see if I refresh again. I say sign in. Oh, my apologies, I have to change the names. It's supposed to be email, and then this one is supposed to be password. Sorry about that. Let's try again. Sign in. Okay, so as you can see, it's showing the error messages there, and then the borders are now highlighted in red. So at least now we can do some validation in regards to, we can do some validation and also show the error messages. So now what we can do is proceed to log the user in. So we're going to come back into the login form, and then down here, we're going to authenticate the user. So with that, oh, by the way, or I don't know if I did mention it in the last video, just make sure that the auth facade is imported at the top if you're using this this auth facade here. The same goes within the registration form. I don't know if I did explain that, but just make sure it's imported at the top if you want to use that facade. Okay, so here we're gonna say if right? Then we're gonna say auth attempt. All right, so this is the method that we're gonna use to validate the user. All right, so now we're gonna validate against the email. All right, let's see our email, and then we're validating against the request email object, right? And then we're also gonna put a comma there, and then we're gonna validate against the password request password, right? And then that's pretty much it. Hold on. Are we missing a curly brace here? I'm just validating there. Yeah, we got everything. So now we're gonna say request session, and then we're gonna say return redirect, right? And then we're gonna say intended. Then we're gonna say dashboard. So make sure this name here that you're placing in is the exact name as the name of the route. I mean the URL. So remember when we use this is the name of this particular route here. But so since we're using the intended function, just make sure that you're placing in this name here. All right. Okay, so there's something wrong here. Oh, there's another curly brace there. No, I'm actually correct. All right, let me just see what I'm doing wrong here. So it's auth attempt and then curly brace. Oh, okay. I see what I did wrong. Okay, apologies for that. I had a closing bracket there. All right. Um, so by the way, this intended function here. So for example, let's say we have a route that's protected where you need to be logged in order to access it. So for example, we're going to create a middleware where we're gonna protect against the blog.create so that users who are not signed in are not supposed to access this page. So let's say if someone wanted to go here, what we're gonna do is protect this route where um, if a user goes to this particular URL and they are not logged in, it's going to redirect them to the sign in page, right? So what this intended function is going to do is that after they've logged in, it will then redirect them back here to the create posts page. Otherwise, if the user is just regularly logging in, it'll just take them here to the dashboard. That's why we have to put that there so that it knows that if there's no route to where the user was coming, where the user was, it'll just take them to the dashboard. Otherwise, it'll redirect them back to wherever they came from. All right. So I hope you get that. And then as for this session regenerate, I will explain this a bit later on. For now, let's just keep it there. Okay. So I'm going to copy this and put it here. Right? So if the user puts in a correct username and password, it will redirect them to the dashboard. Otherwise, we're gonna return uh, back to the what you call it with the error message to say incorrect username or password. Okay. I think that's pretty much all we need for the login method. Um, okay, so let's go back. Right, so if you click there, it should give us the error messages still. So now I'm gonna put in, if I remember, I think we logged in with John Doe. Yeah, it's John Doe at some company. So we're gonna take that one. I'm gonna put it the incorrect password, and then I'm gonna sign in. Oh yeah, I forgot to display the error message. All right, so I'm gonna come here at forms, and then right underneath here where it says where we are checking for the error messages for the login form, we are gonna say okay. Um, Let me do this. If session, I believe I named it error. Okay, yeah, it's error. And here we're gonna paste that back, and then here we'll just say all right. So let's try again. John Doe, wrong password. Okay, so the password is showing. So I'm gonna set this password so that it shows in the middle. So for that, I'll just add a class here. So text center. Let's try again. John Doe, sign in. All right, incorrect username or password. Okay. All right, let's just try again. All right, so now I'm gonna put in the correct password, John Doe, and then which is password 123. Let's see if we sign into the dashboard. All right. So as you can see, we are now logged in, and then if you check here, the sign out button is not showing. So remember, we made some changes in regards to the menu. So if we make it mobile view, or yeah, let's make it so that when this is in mobile view, it doesn't show. So we're gonna come back to the nav.blade file, which is in partials nav.blade. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? It's up here. So the class that I'm going to place here is that d none and then d sm block. All right, let's save that, refresh. It's no longer showing. So if you come back here, as you can see, the sign out button is showing. So we're going to change the style of this, right? So instead of it being a button, what is it? We're going to say, we're going to give it the drop down. Um, we're going to give it the drop down item class. Let's come back here, refresh. All right, can you see there? So now I want to put a separator between that sign out button and a separator between that between the sign out and the rest of the menu. So just hold on, I'm checking my notes. Sign in, sign out. All right, so for the sign out here, what I need to do is I'm gonna put it here, which is gonna be li, then I'm saying class, and then for that to work, we need to say apologies, we need to say hold on, it's hr, and then let's say drop down divider. Let's see how it looks. All right, can you see it there? I hope you guys can see it. So there's a divider there that's displaying. So now the sign out button is separated from the blog and the home menu. All right, so now if I click on this, we should uh let's see, I want to put a um let's say style cursor, I think it's pointer. Let's see. All right, so let me click there. All right, as you can see, it works. And then if you come back, we now have the sign in and sign out. So if you come back again and log in, John Doe, we then now have the sign out button instead of the sign in and sign out. So as you can see, with just a couple of functions, Laravel makes it very simple to work with the front end. So now I believe now we are done. We are able to sign in and sign out. So I believe in the next video we should start working on creating posts. Here we're going to display the posts that only belong to this particular user, and then we will also look into how we can display what to display if the user has no what you call it, has no blog posts, and then when the user does have blog posts, we will then change this. The other thing we will be working on is this section over here where we display the recent blog post, but because now we don't have any, we're just showing static data. So let me just sign out. We back again, so we can sign up, we can sign in, and I think that's pretty much it for the video. Luckily it didn't take too long. All right, guys. Just to explain a couple of things. As you've seen in the previous video, this is how we log in users out. Again, guys, I hope you were able to follow with what I was doing, especially when it came to, this is normally how Laravel suggests to log users out. You create a hidden form, and then you create a button that's basically going to submit this form, but as a post request as opposed to doing it as a get request, due to some security concerns and all of that. So the other thing is that if you saw, when we log users out, we first log the user out, we do a session invalidate, and then session regenerate token, and then we redirect the user back to the dashboard, to whichever route we want to redirect them to. So now I did this in this way following the Laravel documentation. So if you check the latest documentation by Laravel, let's see, this is the authenticating users. Let's see, logging users out. So as you can see, you would have to read through the documentation just to understand why they suggest this way. So I just followed the documentation. As you can see here, you log the user out, you invalidate the session, and then you regenerate the session. And then it does further explain as to why that is and so forth. So my recommendation, just read through this documentation so you can understand why. So, and with logging users in, it's pretty much the same thing. As you can see, um, I pretty much followed the exact same steps that they showed here. So, but like I said, try every now and then, if you have a few minutes, just try and see if you can read through the documentation just to understand. You don't have to read the whole thing. If you can just go and read specific things like logging users out, or logging users in, and authenticating users, etc. So yeah, that's, I just wanted to explain that because even I, up until recently, I wasn't doing it this way. I was doing it in a different in a different format. So yeah, just um just keep reading through the documentation and try to understand certain things, and then yeah, you should be fine from there. All right, guys. So that's pretty much it for the video. In the next video, we should start working on creating posts. So again, if you've liked what you've seen so far, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys within the next video. Cheers for now.